I recently told you about how Starlink was being delivered to Ukraine, and I didn't expect that video to get as much views as it has, but I wanted to provide you with a quick update.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Many of you have asked, that's cool, but how will Ukrainians be able to use Starlink without these handy things? Well, it turns out they just delivered a ton of user terminals. You can see them in this photo. In fact, in less than 48 hours, these user terminals have been delivered. And this was tweeted by the Vice Prime Minister, Mikhailo Fedorov. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but anyway, that is something that you guys were asking, well, how is this gonna work? It looks like they have Starlink terminals delivered. And also, a quick note, this is mainly as a backup. It has been reported that internet connection has been fairly stable, but of course, this is a great backup if that internet connection is somehow cut off. So this service was requested on Saturday. The Starlink terminals arrived on Monday. That is a crazy turnaround time, especially in such a chaotic event such as this one. And again, this is more providing a backstop for Ukrainians who could see their service interrupted. Like I said, service has been pretty stable so far. But most countries that have implemented Starlink right now do not have it for the reason that Ukraine has it right now. And this was really an emergency activation, the same thing that we saw in Tonga. And in case you didn't see my original video, I want to reread this tweet to you because it is just so powerful. This is from the Vice Prime Minister, who was also Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation. Mikhailo tweeted a plea to Elon Musk. He said, while you try to colonize Mars, Russia tries to occupy Ukraine. While your rockets successfully land from space, Russian rockets attack Ukrainian civil people. We ask you to provide Ukraine with Starlink stations and to address sane Russians to stand. And now keep in mind, a lot of people are also saying, well, there's no ground stations in Ukraine. Well, because of the interlaser links with some of the Starlink satellites, they will be able to serve those areas. So you don't necessarily need a ground station everywhere to get Starlink service. Think about over the poles. That's why these interlaser links are so important. And SpaceX has already launched about 2,000 Starlink satellites. Of course, they plan to launch thousands more to continue completing that shell and so they can blanket the entire planet in internet connectivity. I also wanted to point out that Tesla has also offered free supercharging for those around Ukraine that are trying to flee the country right now. Tesla has been known in the past to offer free supercharging when there's a natural disaster, and it won't be the last time they do something like this, but obviously this is for a very different reason. It's really just one less thing for people to think about when they are just trying to find somewhere safe to be. Tesla has offered owners free supercharging on several occasions, like during hurricanes in the south, but this is the first time Tesla has offered it for something other than a natural disaster. You could call this one a human-made disaster for the Russian invasion of Ukraine. If you really live under a rock, maybe you need me to tell you that Russian President Vladimir Putin initiated a military operation last week. This, of course, is now amounting to a large-scale invasion. Ukrainian forces, citizen volunteers, they've been fighting back, trying to defend their country, but the Russian military has advanced into several parts of the country. Many are trying to flee to other neighboring countries like Poland and Slovakia. So in an email to local owners, Tesla announced that it is making several supercharger stations near the Ukrainian borders with those countries free to use for both Tesla and non-Tesla electric vehicles. Some of these areas that will have that option: Poland, Slovakia, and Hungary. And keep in mind, this is also the first time that Tesla is offering this for non-Tesla vehicles as well. Tesla doesn't actually officially operate in Ukraine, but it's been rumored to enter the market soon. And it's even added planned locations for supercharger stations in the country earlier this year. But there are still many Tesla owners in Ukraine who just decided to import vehicles for themselves. And Elon has been promising an expansion into Eastern Europe for years. but the clock is still ticking on that one. So I know so many of you guys are maybe still waiting to get your own Starlink, but I just really wanted to highlight another example, another use case of how Starlink is really helping in a time of need. I first told you about this over a year ago. Starlink was being used to help during wildfires in Washington. Starlink was also used after all of that flooding in Germany. Starlink was also used now to help those in Tonga, and of course now in Ukraine. And this is really still the beginning of Starlink and its rollout for the entire world. So just really wanted to keep you up to date on these things. Of course, it has been a very difficult time. I work as a TV news reporter by day, and we have been really involved in covering everything that's going on in Ukraine right now. So I'm of course very up to date with what's going on, but you guys turn to me a lot for Starlink news, so I wanted to make sure that you knew this update, that yes, the terminals have arrived, and of course that will make all the difference if they do have issues accessing the internet. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to like this video and hit subscribe so that you don't miss anything. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.